BNP Awami League National Party. There is no political party whose politics he has not done. There are allegations that he has committed 60 to 70 murders. Even if it is not a simple murder or murder, no one could even speak against him for fear that the bodies of the dead could not be found for proof. Because opening his mouth means certain death. Political backup and fear of people combine. He was untouchable at his time. He was one of the biggest criminals in the history of Bangladesh. But despite all this, many people in his area still consider him like a god. He always loved the poor and was by their side. If it was bad, it would have been the government. He would never have allowed the government. He never did any atrocities on our poor. We can say something bad about him. He is a criminal in our eyes. I admire him very much. Besides, he is not a good person. He is not a bad person. But there is another party who says that if he is not arrested or hanged, then there is no rule of law in the country. Which law am I talking about? I am talking about Ershad Sikder. So let's go to today's video. Listen to the story of Ershad Sikder. One of the biggest criminals of Bangladesh, Ershad. Welcome to the show beyond the title of this rise and fall. Ershad was born in a small village called Madargona in Jalagati of Barisal district. His father, Bande Ali Mia, was a simple farmer. He did not have any land of his own to live on, so they somehow managed their family by farming on other people's land. Ershad also had an elder brother. His elder brother used to work with his father to support the family. Their family lived on the income their father and brother earned together. It was going well, but that happiness did not last long on Ershad's forehead. When he was 12, his father Bande Alamia fell ill and died. Instead of his father, his mother took over the family. She started working from house to house. Even then, she could not understand what responsibility was involved. In the meantime, one day, skipping school in the afternoon, she came home early. When she went near the house, she heard some unusual sounds. She was not very familiar with these sounds. She looked inside with curiosity through a gap in the half-destroyed house and saw the pregnant mother is sleeping with an influential person from her area. I have a little doubt about this specific part and it is not very proven. I am not sure how true it is. I found it in an article in Rawa Bangla and it is also written there that the matter is actually a rumor and that rumors cannot be trusted 100%, I hope you understand. After growing up a little, Ershad's entire family moved to the Kulnagat area. Even when he came here, his mother went from house to house as before. He started working and his elder brother went to the Gut area and started working as a coolie. And at this time it entered Ershad's mind very well that he would not spend his life as a coolie like his father and brother, he would have to do something big in a shortcut. He also left his studies completely and started working in the Gut area, but his approach was not like his elder brothers. He had a plan, he had to do something big. He went to the leader of the coolies, Qasim Sardar. He became Qasim Sardar's associate and started to groom him and kept waiting in his mind for some big opportunity. Ershad slowly stole. He started to get his hands dirty and stole rice, wheat and oil from the boats that came to the Gut area. He was often caught stealing these things. Soon his name as a thief spread very well in the area. Because of his fair complexion, people started calling him Rangachor. Now most of the people in the Gut area were either black or brown. There was a young boy whose complexion was very fair. It made sense to call him Rangachor. After getting known as Rangachor, he became the leader of the coolies. Things changed. Anju Sardar came in place of Qasim Sardar. Qasim Sardar no longer had any value to Ershad. So now he became Anju Sardar's associate and started working as a footman for him. But Anju Sardar's sexual orientation was gay. So he set his sights on the fair-skinned Ershad. And he chose Ershad as his cue. Better understand, obviously I can't narrate this on social media and this specific part is actually not very strongly evidence-backed, so this also can't be said as sure as it is a gray area. You can say legend has passed a few more years. Ershad is no longer living with the money he has been stealing something bigger. Then he formed a gang with a few Ramdas and some other boys like him. Now he started robbing and scamming, and whenever there was a little pressure in the robbery market, he used to open the railway lines and sell it. That is, he used to steal government property, and in this way Ershad started making his place in the big crime world. So until now, whatever I have said, these are all about Ershad's childhood and adolescence. From then on Ershad's youth phase actually begins, and from here Ershad Sikder actually starts becoming Ershad Sikder. The time is 1982. Another Ershad, Hossein Muhammad Ershad, is sitting in the chair of the government of Bangladesh. Ershad Sikder thinks that if he does not join politics, then he will not be able to give a very good backup to this criminal world as he thought. Ershad's name is written in the politics of the Jatiya party. At that time, Ershad had a lot of influence in the Gut area. He could gather 2,000 or 3,000 people in a few hours. This is not a problem for him. Now he thinks a little rationally. For any political party meeting, manpower is needed. The more manpower the party has, the stronger the party is. No one will consider a meeting that does not actually have people. And it was for supplying people. Ershad was an expert in the Ghat area. All the workers were very afraid of Ershad, and using this fear, Ershad tried to show the workers of the Ghat to show more people in the political party. He used to provide supplies, and for this reason, Ershad had a special value among political leaders as Ershad needed them. So they used to give Ershad backup in all kinds of wrongdoings. With the benefit of political backup, Ershad started his empire of occupation one after another. One after another, he started occupying other people's properties and also entered the drug business. Within a few years, Ershad became the owner of a lot of money. Now it was time to become a leader himself without taking political leaders. Ershad became the ward commissioner of ward number 21 of Khulna by some kind of election. From then on, his real occupation activities began. He occupied many government lands around and built a huge slum, and it accommodated 50 to 60,000 people, and all of them were the so-called lower class people of the society: coolies, rickshaw pullers, shopkeepers, hotel employees, workshop mechanics, and many other low-class people. Don't get me wrong, I'm not calling them low-class people. I'm just highlighting the social fact because that's how they are perceived in society. The intelligent Ershad knew from the beginning that it was unfair and that to survive in the political arena, some people would need his genuine support, because in the field of democracy, the vote of a coolie is worth the same as that of a teacher with a PhD. You can buy a coolie's vote with a cigarette, but not a teacher's. Along with that, he started bringing these low-class people into his party because it is easy to buy votes from them. Ershad would keep a regular eye on these slum dwellers, so whenever they needed something, Ershad would arrange for them. Ershad, like a god, would satisfy these people with little. Many of the slum dwellers then joined Ershad's terrorist gang. Ershad now understands that there are thousands of people behind him who genuinely like him. Now he starts expanding his criminal empire. Both the support of the slum dwellers and the administrative power are now in Ershad's hands. Anyone who speaks against Ershad will face only one consequence, and that is direct death. For example, 3 guards once informed the police about Ershad's smuggling business. As a result, all 3 of them lost their lives at the hands of Ershad. However, another person saw that scene and did not tell anyone. Ershad dragged him away from the world. He was a complete monster at that time. Even his illegal business did not help anyone. If there was a problem with him, he would invite him to his house in the name of Samoyota and then kill him, fill him with cement bags and float him in the river. He continued his activities like this, but in the meantime, his political party, the Jatiya Party, fell. This time, the BNP came to power, but the party had no connection with Ershad. Ershad only needed power. He had the support of the slum dwellers who had built it himself. He also had no shortage of illegal money. He quickly left the Jatiya Party and joined the BNP. Then he took over an ice mill in his area. This ice mill, he made it his personal torture cell. There was a separate room in that ice mill where he regularly held alcohol and gambling parties. There he would invite influential people and arrange for their entertainment. This is how Ershad started expanding his network. Because of this network, the police could not do anything against him. Although the police would sometimes catch him, he could get out on bail within a day. Well, a web series was also released last year about this ice mill, which is actually called The Story of the Ice Mill. The funny thing is that at the beginning of the series, there is a disclaimer that this story is completely fictional, but even a child can tell that it is actually based on Ershad Sikder, but not based on 100% fact, a little bit twisted version of the facts, which I personally think is okay. Let's continue the story. Every gang has a rival gang. Ershad also had one. When Ershad was the commissioner of ward number 21, the commissioner of ward number 15 next door was an Awami League leader named Muslim Ershad. He also came to the Ghat. Muslim Adin started having a huge problem with Ershad, and probably the most murders in Ershad's life were committed by Muslim Adin. On the one hand, Ershad's gang would kill Muslims people if they found them, just like the Muslim gang would never let go of anyone from Ershad's party if they found them. Many people died due to the fight between the two sides. However, in the end, Muslim could not get along with Ershad. He completely removed Muslim from the streets. However, it is not like there was no case against him because Muslim died. It is very natural that a big leader would remove him. But Ershad used his intelligence and political connections to turn the case around. He himself killed a person close to him, and he put the responsibility for that murder on the person who filed a case against him after killing Muslim. That was his level of setting things up. I missed another thing, that after every murderer did he bathe with milk. I don't know how much this is, but it doesn't make any sense because bathing with milk doesn't actually clean someone's body. On the contrary, it makes the body more sticky. This is also a rumor. There is no solid evidence. Another thing is that he had a big house. A big house where he raised big magor fish. After killing someone, he would leave the body in the house and the magor fish would eat that body. I don't know. This doesn't seem true at all to me. And there is no solid evidence for this either. However, many people have said that this is actually a rumor spread by Lukmok. However, this is true. There was really a house there and he also farmed fish, but only blood area is really there. Was there really a human body there? Jumping to 1996, the government changed again. This time the Awami League came to power. It was Ershad's time. He changed his party again without any trouble of changing parties. This man actually had no attachment to any party. He just had to stay in power, but the Awami League did not accept him so well. At that time, there were more than 30 cases in the police record against Ershad and many cases were not filed in that. Outside the slum dwellers, Ershad's reputation was not good at all among the people outside Khulna, so there was trouble with him within the party. 2 years later, he was expelled from the Awami League, but even then, he had no shortage of connections with the party leaders. He was as fine as his previous date. Now, those of you who know a little about Ershad might be thinking about this. It is coming that why am I not talking about his married life yet? So here it starts. It is known from various sources that Ershad had a total of 6 wives. The first of them was his wife Khadija Begum. This Khadi Begum was the daughter of a chieftain of Ghat number 5 and 6. After that, he married quite a few more but none of them really came to light. His last wife, Sanjita Akhtar, came to light. How many wives does Shobha have? I know that I am the second. Now, I hear a lot. Now, how can I tell you that Shobha is his only wife, whom he brought to his Swarna Kamal? Now, you may be thinking, what am I talking about Swarna Kamal? Ershad had a lot of illegal money at that time. He had a very good engineer from India and designed it like a royal palace. He built a house which he named Swarna Kamal. Whether you believe it or not, Swarna Kamal was a very royal house of that time. Until it was demolished, people used to visit this Swarna Kamal whenever they went to Khulna, but even during the construction of this Swarna Kamal, he had another taste of it. He killed the person he had given the responsibility of building the house. He accidentally moved the land of the house by an inch here and there, and that was his only crime. Ershad removed him from the world because of this crime. After Ershad's murder, no body was found. Most of the bodies were stuck in cement and thrown into the river. He would come and throw them away, so there was no question of the body floating, so not even a single piece of evidence could be found for his murder. He always used to keep his hands clean. Somehow, he destroyed the evidence. Not a single piece of evidence could be found. But in one case, he was caught and in this case, his body was also found. But it was not like he was caught because of finding the body. The body was not the issue here. Ershad could have easily buried it in his power. He was caught because of his closest friend and most trusted person Noor Alam. Noor Alam was Ershad's closest friend. Noor Alam took care of all the illegal business, murder and political troubles. In a word, he was the right hand of Ershad. Just as Ershad trusted him deeply, Noor Alam also considered him like his guru and his elder brother. That is, whenever Ershad ordered, Noor Alam always did it. Noor Alam was Ershad's associate from the time when he was called Rangachor. That is, since he was a teenager, Noor Alam was close to Ershad. So how was Ershad caught because of Noor Alam? Even because of Noor Alam's witness, the police could take Ershad to the gallows. Now the question comes why Noor Alam betrayed his own master. The direct answer is Ershad's woman. Ershad had many rape allegations against him but there was not much evidence. If he laid eyes on a girl on the street, Ershad would not think twice about using her for his own entertainment. As long as it was on a girl from outside, Noor Alam had no problem until then, but Ershad's eyes fell on Noor Alam's own wife, whom Noor Alam loved very much. He sent Noor Alam outside to work and physically with Noor Alam's wife. You understand, but shocking. Parties had arranged Noor Alam's marriage with this girl himself. Noor Alam's wife was also scared and did not say anything to him, but one day, Ershad himself was caught in front of Noor Alam, but Noor Alam was helpless at that time. Noor had never imagined that the one he had accepted as his guru would do something like this. But then he said nothing. He can't tell anyone, so he keeps quiet, and maybe from that moment on, the fire in his heart started burning. In 1999, trouble started when the Jubo League leader Khalid told him about his old technical agreement and called him to his ICE college. He called Khalid and 4 more people came with him. At first, he took great care of everyone. Seeing so much care, no one could understand that Ershad was angry with them. As soon as they finished eating, he grabbed them one by one and started beating them. After killing everyone, he beat Khalid with a club, then tied him up with a nylon rope and suffocated him to death. Then he stuffed him in a cement sack and drowned them in the river along with their car. That was his biggest mistake. This time, Khalid's body was found in the river, and this is the only body that Ershad was found even after he was thrown away, because in all the previous cases the body could never be found, let alone the body. In most cases not even a single drop of evidence could be found. This time the body was found, and the case against Ershad was a little stronger. Fortunately, 2 out of the 5 survived that day. Meanwhile, he himself was a leader of the Jubo League and the government was also of the Awami League, so the pressure was very high. Ershad realized that he would not be able to escape. So this time Ershad made a different plan. He held a meeting with his party members and some businessmen and planned that after going to jail, his people would organize a movement and bring him out again with political backup. So he himself went to the police and surrendered himself, and this was the biggest thing in his life. After he went to jail, his close friend Nur Alam, who had been his friend for so long, went and started giving evidence against Ershad. At that time, the commissioner of police was Anwar al-Iqbal. Anwar al-Iqbal gathered some more witnesses, but none of them agreed to give evidence against Ershad. To overcome his fear, he started beating Ershad in front of them and then told them to kill him too. He could not find out whether they had killed him or not, but this allayed their fear. This time they also agreed to testify against Ershad. The case became stronger. At that time, no one stood by Ershad. Even after the outcome of the case, Ershad was sentenced to death. But even then, Ershad's confidence did not decrease at all. He was confident that nothing would happen to him. He would get out somehow. He appealed against the verdict, but that did not work either. In the end, he begged the president for his life. He wanted to, but that was also rejected. Now his confidence was broken. He could not accept death by hanging. So he tried to commit suicide with his own brush, but he did not succeed in that either. Then in the remaining days, he started eating and drinking a lot and had a song of his own which he used to sing along with his music. Everyone will die, the earth. Everyone will die, the earth. Friends, take forgiveness from the bread. Someone will blame you. I will die. I will die. This song he wrote himself while sitting in jail. He used to sing this song. Time passed. On May 10, 2004, at 12:01 a.m., he was hanged. Here comes another twist. Even before the execution, Ershad told his executioner that he had done nothing wrong. Ershad Sikder was notorious. When he was hanged, he stood up and said that he had done nothing wrong in his life. Pray for me. That's all we believe in. It is absolutely evident that someone came to him just before his death. Even if you don't lie, your dying declaration, that is, what you say before you die, is accepted as solid evidence on the gallows. Ershad said even while standing that I have done nothing wrong, so is everything I have said so far a lie, or did Ershad lie even at the moment of his death, or is it true that killing people is not a crime to Ershad? Praise, I have been living here for 40 years. I have definitely been doing it. Do you see any one of you? Am I committing murder or extortion? At least 58 to 7 cases have been filed against him for throwing our bodies into the Bairab River. Well, most of the information against Ershad is mainly available from Nur Alam's statement, and Nur Alam has a grudge against it. Khulna's much discussed Ershad Sikder's palatial house, Swarnakamal, is being demolished. On Thursday morning, a crowd of eager people was seen in front of the Swarnakamal house at Majid Sarani number 135 in Sonadanga area of Khulna city. Many are standing curiously watching the demolition process. They are discussing why and for what reason the house is being demolished. It was seen that the main gate of the house is locked from the inside. 10 to 12 workers are working on the roof of the 2-story house with large hammers and drill machines to demolish the building. The small old 3-story building in front of the main 2-story building has already been completely demolished. Some parts of the demolished building, including bricks, are lying there. Ershad Sikder was executed in Khulna jail on May 10, 2004 for various crimes, including killing many people. Before that, all the thrilling stories of his murder and torture started coming out one by one for a few years. Ershad Sikder became one of the most discussed people in Bangladesh, and his palatial house in Khulna city became the center of people's interest. Even today, many people do not forget to stop by this house on Sonadanga Road, an elite area of the city, when they visit Khulna. Ershad Sikder built his magnificent Golden Lotus in the Majid Sarani area of 135 in Khulna city. Along with tunnels, secret meeting rooms, weapons and all the arrangements for storing money, the building was full of aesthetic touches. That Golden Lotus is now being demolished. However, it is known from the family that not the entire 2-story house, about half of the house is being demolished. The entire old small 3-story house has already been demolished. Ershad Sikder's children plan to build a new 10-story house in place of the demolished house. Ershad Sikder's eldest son Kamal Sikder told the Daily Star that they had an old 3-story and another 2-story house on 10 kathas of land owned by the Khulna Development Authority (KDA) in Majid Sarani. The 2-story building was originally named Swarnakamal. A few days ago, they demolished the old 3-story building with workers. Now about half of the 2-story building is being demolished. It is learned that out of the 10 kathas of land, 5 kathas of land are in the name of his father Ershad Sikder and the remaining 5 kathas are in the name of his mother Kodeha Begum. The part that was originally in his mother's name is being removed. There are plans to build a 10-story building on that 5 katha land through a developer. Kamal Sikder said, "We are basically planning to build a 10-story building with developers in 50-50 shares in the mother's share. Talks have already been held with 2 Dhaka-based companies. Actually, we will not sell the share in the name of our father will remain as a memory," he said. Ershad Sikder's first wife, his mother-in-law, 3 sons and their 6 children currently live in the house. The daughter of the first party lives in the in-laws' house. And the second wife, Sanjita Nahar Shobha, lives elsewhere. After Ershad's military government came to power in 1982, Ershad Sikder of Khulna became powerful. He rose to prominence as an ordinary coolie at the Khulna dockyard. Later, he became a Ghat Sardar or the chief of coolies there. He was accused of killing at least 24 people. He killed many of them and hid their bodies. As a result, the bodies were never found, and no cases were filed. Even after the Ershad government, BNP and then Awami League came to power, Ershad Sikder's power did not decline. But in 1999, when he was accused of killing a Jubo League leader in Khulna, the Pasha's fortunes turned upside down. His own bodyguard became the official witness against him. He was sentenced to death for that murder. Khulna history researcher Jamal Adin told the Daily Star, "People's curiosity about this house never ended, and even now, strangers stand and stare at it. In any sense, the house is a witness to history." Ershad Sikder was born in Nalchati, Jalakathi, and moved to Khulna in 1967. There, in addition to working as a coolie at the railway station, he also stole and sold railway tracks. This is why he became known as the Ranga Chor. He started terrorist activities in the Khulna railway station, got number 4 and 5 areas, and at that time he formed a terrorist force. During Ershad's rule, as a result of terrorist activities with political patronage, Ershad Sikder became the owner of a huge property, including an ice factory and a palatial house named Swarna Kamal in the city. After that, he got involved in numerous crimes including seizure of railway property, seizure of personal property, drug trafficking, extortion, rape, and murder. In 1988, Ershad Sikder was also elected as the commissioner of Ward No. 21 of Khulna. He was the commissioner of that ward until his death by hanging. But after becoming the commissioner, his criminal activities did not stop. Ershad Sikder's close aide and bodyguard Noor Alam, in the testimony against him in the court, mentioned that he had seen 24 murders committed by Ershad Sikder. Apart from this, he came to know that he had committed 60 murders in total. On April 30, 2000, the Khulna court announced the death sentence of Ershad Sikder. However, after going through the appeal and begging for life from the president, the hanging was carried out on May 10, 2004. Of course, it wasn't because of this, the acceptance of his statement has decreased somewhat. At the end, I don't know that only the people of that time can tell what actually happened because there are many things. There are many articles that are actually fabricated now. They are said with a lot of color and exaggerated, which are actually not as true as what actually happened, meaning the true story has been twisted and changed a lot. Anyway, this is clear that he was a thief, a robber and a murderer, so thanks a lot for this documentary.